Audio check 1 2.
I can hear you fine.
Audio check 1 2.
I can hear you fine.
Audio check 1 2.
I can hear you.
Okay, so I have the YouTube live stream muted, so if something goes horribly awry with the audio on there, I need somebody to let me know either in Discord or Fleet Chat, please. Thank you.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. I was going to stick around and I was going to listen to the end of the meeting and have a bit of something to say, but I've just been called into fucking work, like 3 hours early, so I'm going to have to go. So,
Is there anything?
yeah, apparently I have nothing better to do with my life than going to work, so I'll catch you later.
Is there anything that you want to bring up before the meeting you want to throw in Discord real quick?
No, not really. I'm not a very good miner. So, I don't really have much of a say. I just kind of go where you guys go. But I don't know. Just hope you're all well. This is the first time in a little while that I've seen so many of you in the same room. I just want to say you're an outstanding collection of people. Outstanding. Anyway, yes, I'm off.
Well, thanks for the tearjerkers. We all appreciate it. Have a good day.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm yeah. Listen, if I don't see you all again, remember.
7, for some reason I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, you are very
Discord.
quiet, Sab.
Interesting.
Right, yeah. Catch you later. Sorry about this.
Theater, Hebron.
Check. Well, when I start talking in official capacity, I tend to be a lot louder anyway, so.
I already put 200% on you, but I still can barely hear what you're saying.
How about now?
Much better.
Yeah, it's the difference between official voice capacity and me just sort of talking.
All right.
For those that are watching on YouTube, I'm really sorry. I do not have a push to talk button on my XSplit, so I'm going to try and throw my microphone up in the air when I'm not needing to talk and bring it back down when I am, but sometimes I forget that, so volume level might be high or low, I don't know. Looks like the live stream's still going alright though, so that should be nice. Looks like the live stream's still going alright though, so that should be nice.
Hey guys, just checking audio. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I got you fine.
Stuff.
Alright guys, I guess we can get started. So I sent out that Hello Mining Sig document, and I made sure that we all got an email to give you, basically it's the State of the Union address for the mining part of the corporation. And as the Mining Sig, we all know that we run this place. It's here. So I am just the coordinator. I'm just the guy that gets stuff going in the direction that you guys want it to go. So I need some input at this point because I don't know where it is that we're headed. So that's what the meeting is basically about. For those of you following along on YouTube, I am not paying attention to the YouTube chat. I have 2 other chat channels that I have to watch right now and make sure that we're still recording and all this other stuff. So, if you want to have some say in what's going on and you don't have Discord voice comms, use either the Discord mining channel chat or the fleet chat. And I am watching both of those, and I will make sure that you get a say. So, anybody want to start? Resounding no. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just kind of still waking up.
Alright. So, let's just go through the list. Ore buy. So, our ore buy is sitting at just about 5 billion in actual credit. It's kind of split up right now between ISK and minerals, but if I was to sell them all off, we're at about, I think, 5.2 billion. This particular money has been made and raised by you guys. Big props to Darth program. He's the one that built the spreadsheet. I just run it. And recently, the most recently, if you guys go to the reference page on the ore buy program, it actually shows listing in order which ores are the most valuable to us. It's the ones that we will pay for the highest, and it goes in order from highest to lowest so that you guys know which ores you're scouting for when you're out doing stuff. Now with that 5 billion ISK that we have in there is on top of the tier 2 module that we did the fundraising for. So we have lots of funds for you guys to decide what you want to do with that funding. If you guys are happy with where the state of everything is and you don't want to make any changes, there's always the possibility of dropping the 8% tax on the ore buy down just a little bit so that you're making a little bit more ISK. The ore buy is making a little bit less ISK, which will make it so that we will stay about where we're at and be able to do something in the future with it, as opposed to doing something with it now.
Do we have any clue on the future of Mogul? Because I guess what we want to do may have that sort of has an input into it.
It does. At this point, there has been no official word as to what's going on with Mogul. I know Liquid and I have been watching that pretty closely. I think Golan has pretty much as well. We found about a week ago that the Mogul Anthors have all started drilling again, and I think they're set up for an entire month. They start out pretty small at something like 600k on the next poll, but at the end of the month they're up to something like 6 billion in their poll. We don't know if Mogul took them back over, if he didn't sell. We don't know if Code or Goon are the ones that bought them and decided to start them back up again. We don't really have any official word as to what is going on with them, except that they are running right now and they are pulling moon goo as we speak.
So can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Sabine. Just a question. If we were to lower the tax, would it be sustainable? I mean, for the future?
Yes. Okay, so let me explain the 8% tax at this point. To refine the ore, it costs 0.3% at the station that we're doing it at right now. We could drop that down a bit if we were able to install our Tier 2 refinement into something that we have access to. Unfortunately, we can't get a hold of the people that are running our anthors right now. But back to the tax. In order to sell the stuff on Jida, there's a broker tax and something else kind of tax. And I'm the one that's doing all of the selling right now. My skills are not top notch. They're decent, but they're not great. I could spend the next probably 2 weeks training into them and get that down a little bit. But I think overall, I think we're at about a 4% tax selling it to the Jida marketplace in order to get our funds back. So if we wanted to, we could drop down to a 5 or 6% tax, which would get you guys a little bit more money and still would maintain our ore buy system without a problem.
So, okay, I mean, if, dropping the tax might help, you know, the younger ones.
Okay, yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. We should probably decide whether that's something that we actually want to do or not. Hang on just a second. I gotta switch. There we go. So at one point or another in one of our chats, give me an X if you would like to drop the tax down to our minimal sustainable level for well, let's make this vote at the end because we still have a lot of other stuff that we have to cover before we decide if we want to do the tax. So getting on to the other stuff, we need to speak about our structures that we are currently leasing. One of the big problems, in fact, the big problem that we're having right now is the structures that we're leasing. We have 4 of them. We have AUA Moondrill 1, 2, and 3, and then we have AUA Manufacturing. There's about 4 or 5 of us in the corporation that have admin access to them, which means that we can get in there and we can put fuel into it, and we can take control of it to start the moon drill up and decide when we need to pop the piece of moon. But we do not have owner control of it, and we cannot get a hold of the owner. We have been trying for about 2 months now to try and get a hold of the owner just so we could put the tier 2 module in so that we could start refining at our own place and drop the tax a little bit further, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. So we need to decide what we want to do with these anthors. We have the possibility of pulling one to use. I would like to find out what you guys would like to do with that. And then with that 5 bill that we have in the ore buy, I'd like to keep 2 in there, which gives us about 3 billion that we could spend getting a new anthor somewhere else or a new Ria2 somewhere else that we could install this this thing into. I know what you're thinking on these 4 structures that we currently have.
If I may ask a question, do we need all 4 structures?
We don't need any of the structures technically. The structures that themselves are basically a mining drill. The AUA one has a clone bay in it, and there's a couple other little things in it that some of us in the corporation use. I use it as my main base of operations, but in putting all of those different modules into it, it increases the amount of fuel that it uses as you're doing it. And there's no way that we can change those modules or shut them off at this point in order to decrease the amount of fuel that it is using. AUA 1, when we use the drill, it pulls about the 2 worst ores that you can possibly mine in Moon ore. It's basically useless as far as a drill. AUA 2 and 3 both pull gneiss and something else, and they actually run pretty good. They are nowhere even close to the same fuel cost as AUA 1. Liquid Blaze. I do not know if they unanchor when they run out of fuel. I think they go into a holding pattern for a little while, and then I think they start falling down towards the moon. And eventually they just get destroyed. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that's what's supposed to happen with them. Any other questions on the structures?
If we don't have these structures, where will we be compressing our ore and refining it?
Well, we're not currently refining it at our own. We're refining in perimeter right now, and there's another refiner that's on the other side of Jida that we can use as well if we're coming from the other direction. Compressors are all over the place. There's compressors everywhere except in Inari. That's the only compressor there, and it's ours. So yeah, I mean, we're not losing a lot by losing AUA 1. It's the one that's sucking the most amount of money out of us. I would need about a week to get all of my crap out of there, but it's entirely possible to just stop fueling it, and I don't think that it would be a problem.
Okay, I mean, if there's no implication, then probably your suggestion to move out of there might be a workable solution to decrease the cost.
Yes, I agree. I think moving out of there to decrease the cost is actually a really good idea. I'm seeing that on a lot of the chat right now too. The problem that we're going to run into though is we still have that tier 2. Actually, let's just take a vote on that. So in either the Fleet chat or the Discord chat, anybody that's actually paying attention, throw up an X if we want to pull out of AUA 1, or a O if we want to stay in AUA 1. I'll give you about 2 minutes to throw that up there. Liquid Blaze, there is no Spode at AUA 1. It is Dark Ocher and Spode, what is that? Vitamins, I think. Valon, we cannot have compression at one of the other AUAs because I cannot install the compressor into that AUA because I am not an owner. We do not have an owner here. We're leasing them, and as such, we cannot put a module into it. That's the biggest problem that we're running into with them right now.
We're the only one with compression in an R.
Yes, we are. And we do not have the ability to even open up that for other people to use because we do not have ownership rights on it. So we're the only people that can compress in an RE.
How about your Junin next door?
I believe that there's 2 of them there.
Mic check.
I can hear you.
Thank God. Jesus Christ. Yeah, just for the. I was saying, I think we should pull out of the our expensive ethanol. I mean, the actual field it produces is not that good, and it doesn't look like we're going to get control of it. And we should try and set our own T2 rig. The question is, if he never comes back, we can always destroy the ethanol in low power, and then put our own re-anchor something there if we wanted.
Right, which would still pull the exact same field and is not very good. It's just not in a very good spot.
Well, I was thinking more of something for the manufacturers, like a retiroo or something,
right,
rather than an ethanol.
Valon, I understand that right now, but could you get a hold of the owner? We have been trying to get a hold of the owner for 2 months straight. I have been trying, Eric has been trying, and somebody else has been trying. We've been sending him messages. We've been trying to get a hold of him through Discord. We are not able to get a hold of him at this time. We have not been able to get a hold of him for quite a while. He had some real life stuff that happened with his family and his kids, and I don't know if he's even coming back to the game, and that's one of the reasons why we're discussing this right now. Laughing Blade, we are not going to ever have our own personal that belongs to Art 5. We can have one that belongs to a holding company that we will make his we will make a new company, and the entire purpose is to have that particular Anthor, and we have the funding to do that. But we will not have it because as soon as you have any structure, you are now able to be war declared, and we can lose a lot of people and a lot of ships and a lot of stuff over owning one little small building. And as currently, we do not own buildings in this corporation for that reason. We're a new bro corporation. We don't want you guys hunted down by these big corporations that are just looking to blow up some people. So, yeah, I think that'll answer your question. Yes, we can, but no, we can't have it as this corp, I guess is the answer. Okay, I am seeing nothing but X's in the voting at this point. So I think we're going to go ahead and schedule the mass exodus of AUA 1. I will ensure that I get all of my stuff out. We will set up a date and time to ensure that everything is out of there, and then I will pull all of the remaining fuel out of it and split it between the other two. Now, where are we at? Is it possible to have a small corp on an alt to set up an Anther? That is exactly what we would end up doing, yes. Yes, high sec will go into safety, yes. How about a structure owning sister corp? Yes, that's the basic idea. Now, that was the next question that I was going to actually pose to you guys, is do we want to get another Anthor since we're going to be losing AUA 1? Do we want to get one? Do we want to get two? Where do we want to set it up? Is there anybody that can go out and scout moons and tell us which ones that we want to do?
We have someone with max scanning skills because they scanned the moons in the wormhole back when we had that adventure. So we should have someone that can scan some moons in the systems we mine.
Yeah, I don't remember who that was. Was it Steve?
I don't think it was Steve. I thought it was like Kodor or someone, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Does anybody have those skills that is part of the meeting right now?
I think that's a no.
What skills do you need? If you're asking that question, you don't have them. Because I don't know, and I know I don't have them. I can scan moons, but I think Mogul does have a database for that. We might have to look it up. So, what would be preferable? Would we like to stay close to Inari to set up this new structure? And would we want to just put it at the most lucrative moon that we can find? Or do we want to have it placed strategically between our main Inari headquarters and Jida so that we can throw our compressor in there and have it compressed along the way? Ideally, we would want both, but which one is more important to you guys? I'm going to give you about a minute to throw up something in chat to let me know which way we want to go. Yeah, Gabrielle, it might be entirely possible that we can find a place in Inari that is an open spot that we could throw it in, which would be frickin' awesome, because then we wouldn't really be changing much. All we'd be changing is ownership of the moon at that point, or ownership of the Anthors. And I know I'm saying it wrong, and I apologize. I'm horrible at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it'd be ideal to have it in Lanari if possible, because I think it would make it easier for the hauling back and forth. For example.
Both. I'm fine with living in Inari. Okay. Not sure how the actual or value of Polavinari compares to other options. Is a valuable for a safety standpoint. That's very true. That's one of the other problems that we have is if we do put up an Anthor, we do have to defend it, which is why the holding company, or not the holding company, the leasing company was pretty nice, was because they were the ones basically taking all the risk. Refining is best in Inari. Okay. So it sounds like we would like to start scouting Inari and then start heading towards Jida. And if we don't find anything in Inari, we just make one jump and scan all the moons there, make one jump, scan all the moons there, until we find a moon that we want that direction. And if not, we will probably put out a Eve mail to see which direction we'd like to go other than that. Okay, so are we wanting to put up as many as possible or just replace the one that we have going? And I don't think that technically it has to be in a 0.5 system, but if we want decent moon goo, then yes, it has to be in a 0.5 system. Okay. Well, I think that's what we have decided, unless somebody's going to scream at me that something else is going on. So I'm going to move on to the next part of where we were. Structures, 4 of them. AU1, the field sucker. Mogul, we talked about. Backup plan. So our backup plan. Basically, the backup plan is there in case somebody comes in and destroys all of the structures that we use to do everything that we do. If somebody comes in, like Code or Goon, and just decides we're going to blow up every freaking Mogul Anthor that there is, or Mogul stops drilling, or our Anthors go down, or we don't have the fuel to fuel them, or anything like that, we have a backup plan. Our original backup plan was to go into Uria and harass the crap out of the Uria Mining Consortium and not pay them their 10% that they wanted. And because if at that point we had nothing to lose, we would have no structures to lose, we would have nothing to lose other than them trying to blow up our ships in HiSec, which is a really bad plan. But it's on them if that's what they wanted to do. Do we want to keep this as our current backup plan, or do we want to start looking into other options? I've heard Didal thrown up a couple of times, and a couple other places. Does anybody have any input on that at all? I see people typing, so I'm going to hold until we figure that one out. Yes, we can absolutely have more than one backup plan. Delve sounds nice, but it's a bit far from Jide. Yeah, there's been a couple of places that have been popping up that look like a really good system. The problem is that we would have to put it all into a single point and then find a hauler to bring it from there all the way to Jide, and a lot of them are like 20 to 24 jumps, and in a hauler, that's a couple of hours. It's something that we would be willing to do if you guys were wanting to do it. I just need to know if you want me to pursue looking into those backup plans or not. I do have a very, very lengthy report into the Urea Mining Consortium, as Liquid knows, because him and I have talked about it a couple of times. If you guys want to know about it, it is a very in-depth report. I know that I have all of the board members. I know the director. I personally have the director as a contact. They have a couple of different steps as to what they will do if somebody comes in and starts mining and not paying the 10%. The first step is to try and bump us off of the field. Currently, they only have 2 or 3 people that can actually run bumping ships. If we were to show up in a full fleet, they would not be able to keep us off of the fields. The second step is to hire a mercenary court, which usually ends up becoming pirate. They would then go after any corporation that we have. Yeah, and their orcas are crap fit. We could easily gank them if we really wanted to. We could. Okay, so if they send pirate after us, pirate will first try and take out any structures that we have with a holding company. Then they will try and take out any structures that we are leasing, which could be good for us. They could take out AUA1, but they will probably take out 2, 3, and the RIA2 as well. The third thing that they do is, even after that all happens, and after pirate starts coming after our miners and our hauling and that kind of thing, then they will start shutting down their actual moon drills. They have Bluebeard is their enforcer. He's the one that has the power to say yes or no to do that. It still has to be put to a vote by the there's 7 heads of the Euro Mining Consortium. The chairman, his name is Darth Roberts. If it is a 3-by-3 tie, he then gets the tie-breaking vote, but normally there's only 6 voting members. It is entirely possible that we could go... Who are they mining for? Who mining for? Eric, can you be a little more specific?
So, I mean, they've got a fuckload of mining operations going on there. And that moon goo also, the moon goo has to go somewhere. So are they like a part of like a big industrial complex that just mines for themselves for profit? Are they actually mining for someone? You know what I mean? This is always
they're
been a
mining
question
for profit, as far as I can tell, and they will actually buy your ore if you contract it to Blue or the station owner or whoever at, instead of doing it a 10% donation, they will buy it at 90% of the price that they can sell it for at Jida after reprocessing. So they actually are doing the same thing that we're doing, but instead of charging an 8% tax, they're charging a 10% tax. And you can direct sell it to them at a 10%, so it would only be a 2% markup. We wouldn't have to carry anything. It would just all stay in Urea, and then whoever the station owner is would then take it up and sell it at Jida. It's basically the same operation, they're just charging more. I also found out, I got it into one of their corporations, I did my little spy business, and in the Bluebeard's corporation, the LSI corporation, if you mine any one of his moons as part of his corporation, the tax is not 10%, it's 25%. If you're in any of the other Urea Mining Consortium corporations and you mine your own moon, it is not a 10% tax, but a 15% tax. So they are taxing their own corporations more than they're taxing everybody else.
So we can actually exploit that.
Absolutely.
It's too much, though. That 10% is too much. We take 15 people over there like we were, and 10%, we're just handing them money.
No.
I mean, a lot.
What I'm thinking more of scenarios is if so this is obviously just completely utterly throwing something out there. If we contact Pirate and say to them, okay, we really want to basically fuck Bluebeard's operation up, we want to replace it with our own, we want you to literally remove every single Athanor in that system, how much is this going to cost us? And we remove every single Athanor in that system and replace it with our own Athanors, and we set up our own mining consortium, and then everybody just pays us 10%. Would that work? Because at the end of the day, from a mining point of view, they don't see any difference. It's all our structures, plus we're getting the money.
Right, and Pirate, as much as a lot of people don't like them, they are very good for their word. If you pay them to do a contract, they will follow it to the letter. So I feel that it's a possibility. I also know that Bluebeard has been playing for a very long time. A lot of the Urea Mining Consortium board members have not been on half as long as he has. There has been a couple of them that are pulling out of the Urea Mining Consortium because they have all these structures and they're being war declared. There was one of them came out recently, 660 billion he spent in the past couple of months just trying to defend his structures, and he decided he didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore and just left. I don't know.
Is that? Do you think that's Bluebeard fucking off, like basically attacking these guys themselves?
No, it's not Blue. Blue is actually supposed to be. He's the enforcer. The only power that he currently has right now, and it really kind of upsets him in the most part, because he's the one that established the Urea Mining Consortium. But the only power that he has right now is if something goes wrong with the actual mining operation, if somebody doesn't pay their 10%, if somebody starts trying to bump them off of their own rocks, that kind of thing, that's the only thing that he currently has power over.
I see, okay.
The rest of it is ran by the board, and he only gets 1/6 of a vote in everything.
So would you say some of the miners that are mining there, the part of this consortium, are not happy? Is it just because of the actual attacks that's happening onto them, or what's the issue?
There was only the one that was being attacked at the time. I know that one of the other ones, BTU Justin, had some real life stuff that happened. He hasn't been on in about 3 months, and he might end up getting booted out of because his stuff is just not doing anything. They put themselves together as part of what's called the Comatose Alliance. Most of the time, if you're in the YMC chat and you put something in there, it takes 2 to 2.5 hours for somebody to respond. They are not very active. They show up and just do whatever the heck they can. I would like to see, if we were going to go in and do this the way that you're suggesting, I would like to get Pam involved and get our ganking fleets over there and have our miners go in and gank their miners. It would be entirely possible to bankrupt them in Orca replacement fees, because they don't ever pay attention to what they're doing. They just show up on a rock and mine.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's you basically need to do guerrilla tactics with them. You know, you need to basically really hurt them where the money is, and that's not really the structures, because that's the income source. You know, like we really fucked them, hurt them with the operations that we did by shutting them down where they couldn't mine. You know, that was like they couldn't do anything, and we were just pissing them off every single day we arrived there on field. They were just going, we're not making any ISK here.
Exactly.
So what you want to do is you want to do guerrilla tactics. You want to rock up with your orcas, just literally plonk down a 15 fleet, 20 fleet of just like miners and just mine everything out. And if they undock their orcas, as soon as their orcas gets onto field, Pam and a whole bunch of us just warp in and gank their orcas, basically saying that if you undock an orca and bring it into your own mining field, you will die and you will lose that ship. And if you mine, you will lose money. If you pull ore, you will lose money. This is going to die now.
Right, and so if that happens, what they end up doing is they stop drilling with their own moon drills. That is the standard operating procedure. If something like that goes down, Bluebeard puts out the mass email that says everybody stop drilling. We're not going to pull anything, and they usually do it for about a month or two so everybody goes away, and then they start them back up again because the problem has passed.
Okay. So if that is the scenario, and we know that's the scenario, then what we could possibly do is we can gank the orcas, you guys go mine there, literally like 15, 20 people in a fleet, okay? When they then stop the drills, we'll move on, we go mine somewhere else. Where we now go mine somewhere else, that's where we need to find out. So that's almost like like plan A is disrupt the operation, plan B is find a secondary place that if they stop their drills, then we find somewhere else to mine, and as soon as they start the operation again, we jump straight back into Blue's property. We're basically saying we need to do it in a way that for the next 6 months, that as soon as those moons pop, we are here, and we are gonna take your ISK away from you. You will not be able to use those structures.
We also have a secondary some secondary things that we've been doing some research in for our guerrilla tactics warfare. One of them is Gabriella and Liquid have put together miner bumper bumpers. Gab, can you tell us a little bit about that? Or Liquid?
Yeah, one second. I'll link it.
Yeah, I think Gabrielle just put Joe that we've got obviously the miner bumping stuff.
So they have put together enough that if Bluebeard does come out with his miner bumper, or one of his other people comes out with his miner bumper, we have got some bumpers that I think it was Gabriella can do 10K. She bumped me something like 5K off of a rock in one bump. It was in an orca, which was pretty massive. And then Gosha had a Sinnoh, Liquid has a Mackerel. We have some pretty decent bumpers that are made to bump the people that are bumping us, and if they do start bumping us and we can't get to their bumpers, then we can start bumping their orcas off the rocks that we're mining. So we actually have some other guerrilla warfare tactics that we've been working on. We also have Concord Collar, which we can bring in, especially if we're gonna, or opposite if we're gonna bring in the actual ganking fits. But we can have Concord on site to make sure that they're not trying to take us out, or we can just not call in Concord and start taking them out. So we have all sorts of options. Once again, this is still at backup plan phase. If you guys want to go into this, there's a couple of things that we would want to do as preparation. Number one, we're going to want to pull everything out of the structures that we are currently using. AUA 1, 2, 3, and the Riatu, because I know for a fact that they know, they have been paying attention and watching us come in and out of an RE and come in and out of those structures, and they know that we're the only people that are, because it's not an open thing, it's only set to us. I was looking at trying to get it so that we could have other corporations use it, because then AUA 1 would actually be bringing in income and attacks for using the compressor or the refinery, and, well, not for the compressor, but it would also make it look like it was a public thing, so that they would not be targeting it as though it was ours, which is something that they're going to do if we end up going into this.
So my view on the AUA is that we don't control the structures, and it's a scenario of like we need to, at some stage we probably need to put plan into place for those. Some, like you've got access to actually put fuel in and start to drill and things like that, which is great. But we don't physically own them, so my attachment to them is not that massive. So yeah, I mean, if this is something that we want to do just for a bit of content and a bit of shits and giggles, and it's something that we want to kind of go for, I'd say. Again, this has always been like a bit of a back burner plan. So if this becomes the main plan, and that's obviously up to you guys, then I would say we need to find out if people are still running things on manufacturing, when that will stop. And then also speaking to Pam to try and find out what fits we need to start training for, getting our gang alts trained into those tornadoes, seeing how many we need to kill an orca. So we might need to do some testing, on maybe a different person's orca, not theirs. But you almost want to have a bit of a plan into place, and then and basically saying, right, in the next 2 months, this is going to be the plan. We'll keep mining in Wyra, and then we're going to initiate like the plan of basically piss off Bluebeard or whatever. But again, this has always been just like a bit of a plan in the background that I've always wanted to do, just because of what's happened in the past. But like I said, if this becomes the main plan, then we definitely need to put some planning into position.
Right. So, I need a vote from everybody in both of the chats. Do we want to continue to research this as our main backup plan? X for yes, O for no. I'll give you a couple of minutes to type that in. Yeah, Liquid, I already knew where you were going to vote. Okay, I've got 7 X's and no O's at this point. So we will, the next phase in checking out this as a backup plan is to plan for miner ganking, which is, I feel like I'm missing out. We need to do some research with Pam and her SIG to figure out what it would take to bring down an orca. Liquid, if you could please put me together about a standard fit for the orcas that they're using over there, and then I would like to see what it would take to gank your 500k fit. Yeah, decent ore all the time. That's something else. Hulling out of Urea was something that we were doing before we moved to Inari. Hulling out of Urea is not going to be a problem. There is a compressor 1 jump outside of Urea. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now. It's not a big thing. We can drop everything there, or we can drop it at the CPF inside Urea, so that's an easy thing to take care of. You guys won't have to do the majority of the hauling. You'll just have to drop all at the same spot. Yeah, I think a lot of their orcas are at about 200k EHP as well. Okay, so I will get a hold of Pam, and I will see what we can do for some runs. I'd like to see what we can do for jumping them infield. And then I know that we have to pull Concord back out again in order to make it work again, but I know that that's doable because I've seen it done and I've watched it how it works. Okay, so other backup plans. Because somebody said that we would like to see more than one happening at a time. I think that's a great idea. The other backup plan, number 1, was Didal. It's the one that's come up 4 or 5 times on my radar. I have done no scouting at this point. I have no idea what is over there. I don't know how many moons are there. I don't know how much is getting pulled. I don't know where the nearest compression is. I don't know what NPC bases are there. I have not had a chance to get over there at this point. Does anybody have any information on there so that we can decide whether or not we want to go forward with that being a backup plan or not?
The thing with Dittle is that it's basically, let me just check here quickly. 1, 2, 3. It's basically 2 jumps from Camella, which is a Mar home system for faction war. It's 1 jump away from a nullsec, and the nearest trading hub will most likely be Amar itself.
I don't think that we would end up trading at Amar. The actual prices at Amar and the prices at Jida, the Jida prices are better, so we would end up hauling all the way back. But once again, it would be one of those things where we would drop it all at one location. Everybody would have to drop at the same location, and then we would just either have it contracted or we would have our own hauling SIG, haul it back to Perimeter for us to turn back into minerals and throw back on the market. But I don't know, like, we were blindsided when we first went into Urea with this mining consortium thing. So I don't know if anybody has checked for that kind of thing going on over there. I don't know if there's enough mining happening over there for that to even have come together at this point. I am seeing that we are not having the biggest pulls out of Didal, but it should support mining fleets. Hella active over there. Ran into a Russian consortium yesterday. So, Blaze, if you could send me an Eve mail with their information so I can start trying to do some research and infiltration, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, they're just a bunch of Russians that do the 10% beard thing, and they're up around Jita. I forget the.
So
the
it's
exact-
basically the same idea as the Urea Mining Consortium. They want 10% of everything we're taking out of there.
Yep, and the other Athenors are labeled accordingly.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's another system that we could also look at. It's quite close to our home, which is Ikami. I'll link quickly and call. So if you look at that there.
And it's in the Forge. That's pretty close.
Yes, if you look slightly to the right, you see the BWF.ZZ. That's obviously Horde's home base, which is in nullsec. And then just basically to the left there, there's Resin, Fuljora, Ikami, and Hampianen. All those are 05s. It also gives us kind of a quick access to nullsec. Maybe not the best entrance because it's always kind of camped, but if you go slightly down that pipe, there's another two nullsecs quite close nearby, so we can go nullsec roaming. It's quite close to GTET, about 9 jumps from Hampianen, so it's not that much further than we are now. So that's area. I've obviously not done any research from that, if there's any consortiums running there, but that's always a possibility because there's 405s there.
Oh, that's okay. I'll have to look that up, and I'll put that on my radar for looking at as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think anywhere where we're going to go to a 0.5 and there's a whole bunch of 0.5s, there's most likely going to be some type of consortium running or something like that. It's just, and this has always been the thing, because we're quite open and because we have quite a big mining fleet and because we can kind of use a lot of guerrilla tactics, you know, the scenario with the AUA structures has been a positive from us because, you know, we don't own the structures, and if any point in time we want to walk away from them, we can. I think the fact that we can't get hold of the owner is an issue for me. You know, yes, we have administrative rights, that's great, but from a, you know, from a wanting to actually improve the structures or something like that, we can't do. So in that sense, do we then just take our mining fleet as a guerrilla tactic thing where we just kind of just fuck up other people's mining, you know, or, you know, is that
which
the way
we have tested recently, very recently in fact, and we completely threw a mining fleet off of his own field and took whatever the heck we wanted. It was actually kind of fun to watch. We did a very good job. We took all of the spodium off of the. I think that they got about 3% of it. They threw a huge fit in local chat, but there was really nothing that they could do about it. So we do have the tactic in place. We do know how to do that kind of thing now.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you know, naturally you'll want to think of yourself as like, okay, this is our mining home, this is where we do everything, but is that the right tactic? Do we, with all these high secs and all these consortiums, and if that's the case, that we go to Ikami and we find there's a consortium there, or if you go slightly north on the Forge, there's a whole bunch of 05 systems over there, if there's a consortium over there and they've got all these moon mining going on there, we just need to really mark out which moons has got the best ore and when they pull, and just literally arrive on that day, and you can literally swarm mine the whole of the Forge and Citadel. And if it's Wyra, it's Wyra. If it's more north of Forge, it's more north of Forge. If it's there by Akami, it's Akami. I think if we use that tactic, it's almost like we don't really have a home base, but you just swarm mine the shit out of like the Forge and the Citadel. That can always be like another option on the table, really.
Right. Okay, so anybody that wants to look into doing more guerrilla tactic mining, let's get a vote going for that so that I can start doing some research into places that we can do that or not do that. Once again, let's X or O up to decide if we want to move forward with that.
So Elena said, my only concern with that whole roaming mining tactic is the hoarding of the ore compression and the buyback. Yeah, it's a good shout. I think with the compression thing is you could always try and find a station that's going to have the compression available to you. Like I said, with the Ikami one, it's about 8 jumps. So it's basically about the same as, just roughly about the same as what we have with the current one. And with Wyra, it's about 14 jumps. So it's actually slightly longer. So yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, because it's kind of not like a fixed place where we do compression and things like that. I think the more fixed you are, though, from a statical point of view, so the more we kind of use the same systems to compress and the same structures to compress, it just means that structure becomes a target for any consortium that we try and disrupt.
Okay, so now also on that, if we are not using our own structures and using somebody else's structures to compress, I have found that the farthest that we've had to jump out of any one of these systems that we've encountered is a 2 jump to reach compression, and that is the max that I've found. Normally it's in system. About 80% of the time you have an in-system compressor. With that, we can compress and then drop it into an NPC station. I've only found, I think, 2 systems that I've been in that don't actually have an NPC station to drop in. If we're going to take down AUA 1, AUA 2, AUA 3, and AUA Refinery, or no longer fund them, that means that 8% tax can then go to hauling contracts to get our stuff from that compressor to our refinery, which is literally 1 jump away from Jida.
Yep.
So we have a way around it if we need to have a way around it.
Yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, this meeting's all about having ideas ready if we are not happy to continue to mine in an area. And I think it's just a scenario of that, having these things into place, that if all hell fails with the AUA things, then these things are in place and we have a solid plan in place. And at the end of the day, it's about you guys. If you finding that mining there is for at this point in time still fantastic and you don't mind it, then that's fine. Then there's no change. We'll keep fueling them, we'll keep pulling them, and I'm happy to do that. And that's fine. If you finding that the moon we're not getting there, we can get better and we can use a different tactic to get that moon ore, or maybe just basically completely mess up a guy's mining operation, and you find that fun to shit up local like champions, which I know you guys do, and you like to go bump the guys off this, if that's fun for you, then shit, let's go do that. At the end of the day, it's a game, and if you find that fun, then go do that. If you're happy to just undock an Inari and just mine there, then I'm happy with that too.
Sean, the one that is in perimeter that we're using right now is a tier 2 refinery. We're getting a bigger yield out of it than we were out of the Mogul by just a smidge. and it is public access. It is not owned by Mogul. It's somebody else, and we're paying a 0.3% tax on it. Let me check the other chat real quick. Mining today is a holding farm. Okay, that's all good information to have. All right.
Nora, good shout. My plan with that would be, if we move and things like that, is basically saying for the next month we will be situated in this system, mining these systems. So we'll basically say that this system is the home base. This is where we're going to dock up. We're going to mine all of these moons over here because we know they're pulling and we know what moons they have and when they're dropping. And if we basically moon that system until the point in time where they stop pulling, and as soon as they stop pulling, we now know that another system is still pulling, and we can then move there and say this is the home base for now, and everybody moves down there, and we then start the operation all over again. So you basically disrupt different consortiums all the time.
Speaking of traveling, Orca pilot must. Okay. So, do we want to move into the guerrilla tactics mining, or do we want to stay at the one that we're at, and research more into the guerrilla tactics mining? So let's go with moving into guerrilla tactics mining being an X for a vote, staying with our current and doing more research as an O for a vote. Please vote now. Okay, that seems like a pretty unanimous decision. Okay, so we're pulling out of AUA 1. Do we want to put up another? Do we want to put up another structure? Let's research the places for the new structure. Possibly, we'll continue to run our ore buy through the one processor that we have right now. That way it's not going to cost us anything, and then we can decide if we want to put it in someplace later. We can also just sell that tier 2 that we made. It's something like 3.8 billion in order to sell it, and that would go straight back into ore buy, and it would really help us get some other stuff together, like a ship replacement program for ganking other miners or stuff like that. So that's not something that needs to be decided right now. We'll have to get some more research into that and then move into that. Let's get down here to what is next. This meeting is to get you together and let you know. The meeting is 1400. I think that's pretty much it. That's everything that I had on my radar. If anybody has anything else that they would like to add, now would be a good time.
I think Liquid just asked a question there.
I see that there is another Anthor compressor in Inari. I just checked. Awesome. That means that we could shut ours down like almost immediately. So suck up moguls and mess with Beard on off days. Are we going to go start messing with Beard?
I think what we need to just do is do like a bit of a month of recce. So we do a bit of reconnaissance. Obviously, you've done reconnaissance within the actual operation. That's fantastic. I think what we just need to do is look at what we need from Pam Sig to gank the orcas if we're wanting to go down that route, for instance. Okay. Even if we want to gank the orcas. So I think we need to just speak to Pam, let him run some numbers for us, see if we actually have that. It just basically have it in the back pocket. You know what I mean? It's not we're going to utilize that. It's just if we need to utilize Pam Sig, we can, and we know we have the numbers to do that. And then once we kind of have that, let's give it like a month or so, then we can say, okay, yeah, absolutely, operation like guerrilla mining, go, and then we can just start going crazy. Because at the end of the day,
Alina, yes, we are waiting. We are going to make sure that we have all of our research stuff pulled out, all of our assets pulled out before we go after Blue.
Yes, and that's a good shot there, Lena. At the end of the day, we want to. I don't want Pirates to turn up and then people lose building stuff that's going on. I would want to give you guys a heads up before so that anything that you're manufacturing gets completed and that type of stuff. The other question with the Gorilla thing is that what gets raised is, okay, if we're not going to use the AUA to manufacture, where do we manufacture? And I think that's maybe a question that we would probably need to research into a little bit more. So like, if we need to find a structure that's going to be well protected, shall we say, so it might need to be maybe one of the bigger alliance ones in perimeter, or I don't know. So that's a question that we need to raise, is that if we do manufacture stuff and we have got a lot of guys manufacturing stuff, if we're not using the AUA structures, and this would have been an issue with me whether we do the Gorilla thing or not, because at some stage we need to be able to either get hold of this owner or not, is if all hell else fails, where do we manufacture? Because I can't give you access to manufacture at this structure, neither can Saban. So it's an issue for us, because if someone says to me, well, where can I manufacture? Can I manufacture at that structure? No, you can't, unless you've been set prior to that owner going offline. So we need to find a new system and a new structure.
That would be great. Alina, would you do that for us?
Yep, I'll get right on that.
Thank you
Awesome,
much.
dude.
Okay. Is there anything else that needs to go through? Anara, you got anything?
No, I'm Alina as well, so I've
Yeah, I
been
sort of
kind of
figured.
typing on both characters.
He's got split personalities. He speaks to himself sometimes.
I've got
Yeah.
7 characters. I understand. Gabby, you got anything? I have a question. What are your thoughts about low sec? Oh yes, I totally forgot to go into that. Low sec mining. There's been some interest in going into low sec and doing some mining. In order to do that, we will definitely want to have an escort. I'll have to try and put some stuff for that together. Ice mining and low sec, I'm 100% behind doing any kind of low sec mining. I just need to know how many of you are behind going into low sec to do some mining. So give me an X if you're interested in going into low sec mining. Give me an O if you just don't give a damn.
Just to add on that, the only thing about low sec mining is we'd have to properly shut down a system, because just having an escort is not going to be enough, because if they engage you and we give them a big fight, we're basically just giving everyone fun, which is great for us PvPers because we get a nice bit of content that comes join us. We'll just come back looking for that content.
Right, exactly. We will also need scouts, and we'll need some scanners and some other different stuff. It will have to be a full operation.
Yeah. Okay, so I will give you another link and you can have a quick look for me. 2 seconds. So if you click on that link there for me, if you look on the absolute left on that map, there's a system called OTO, and it has an ice belt.
Yeah.
Now, I have a faction warfare alt that I'll just on like an alpha, and I run faction warfare plex. It's just descanned, like dplex type of thing. And literally nobody ever comes into that system. Like, I mean fucking nobody. In like 2-3 hours, I have maybe seen a person jump in and jump out. That is it. And it has an ice belt. So if you wanted to do ice mining, what you could do is you could do it in there. What we would need to do is we need to find a very, very, very quiet time and move things into High Sierra, because we have High Sierra local pirate guys. And then we would need to find a very quiet time to move the ships into there. But what I would say about that is that it would not be a scenario where we can just move in and out of OCO into, like from high sec into there, mine, and then come out again. We would need to kind of get stuff in there, get it ready. And then on a specific day, we set up a massive gate camp with the PvP guys. So we'll be the protection fleet. And then you guys mine like an absolute animal. and then we pull it into the station there, and then we can haul it back, and then you keep those ships there so that if we want to do some ice mining, the ships are there, it's in that system, it's ready, and basically, either in skiffs or, maybe have one orca for boosts or something like that. So and it's almost like one of those things that if you lose the orca, which, that you never know, it's always a possibility. It's almost like a write-off, and we have some SRP that we can just replace that orca with. So it's almost like the first bit of ice that we mine from there that we get almost goes to replacing anything that we lose. And if it doesn't work out, then at least we've tried. But honestly, that is the quietest system in the Citadel from a low-sec point of view that I have ever been into.
Okay. So I'm going to do some research into getting that, figuring out some numbers, finding out when we can put a fleet together. Best time of the day, I think, is going to be the big thing, and then we'll have to random it throughout the different weeks. We'll probably end up doing it once a week and then randoming where it actually happens in the week so that it doesn't look like we're just showing up, Wednesday at 5 o'clock and everybody knows that we're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, Gabby, you got anything else?
So Gabby just said that there is an ice belt in Icera that I've mined a couple of times without an issue. That is a very convenient location, like Liquid said. Yes, it is. It is it's right next to High Sec. The only issue with the Icera is that there is locals that live there, and they are very trigger happy.
Yeah. And if we bring a fleet in there, they might just come and get us. But it is definitely something else that I will put on my radar and see if we can look into.
Well, the thing is, I've been quite friendly with them, and I have chatted with them in local and things like that. So there's always a possibility that we could possibly maybe strike a deal to say, hey, we want to possibly mine. Can you not shoot us? And then we maybe pay 10% to them, or like 5% to them, or something like that. So we can always maybe do something like that. I don't know.
It'd be nice to be able to have them do the gate camp and protection money. That would be nice if they ran the gate camp with us for the PvP.
Yeah, and they gate camp a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So they always gate camp the House Mijala to Icera Gate. So what we could do is we could technically set up a gate camp, like a joint gate camp up. Absolutely. So that's what my thinking was, that if we do Icera, it's a little bit easier for us to get into HiSec. It's right goddamn next door. We have all of our PvP ships in there already, all the PvP guys. And at the end of the day, if they get a bit of kickback, they'll most likely not mind us mining there, because it means that they're getting a bit of a kickback.
Right, and they didn't do anything with the mining stuff there anyway, so now it's going to generate income for them.
Absolutely, which means that they, exactly. So I can always start a bit of a. If you want to have a look at Oto at certain times, I'll have a look at it all, and then I'll try and see how they feel about a bit of a kickback and a bit of a gate camp up in Icera, and see what the feelers are with them. But they're very nice guys. They're Russian guys. They're quite chilled out. We'll put some. I'll put some feelers out.
Awesome. That sounds like a great plan. Gabby, you got anything else? Okay, that's it for Gabby. Hada, what have you got for us? You got anything? Give you a second to type it up. Nothing at the moment. Hassar, you got anything for us?
I'm good.
Okay. Isildius? Just listening, okay? Liquid, you got anything you want to say, buddy? Going once, going twice? Okay. Miltsuyan. And I know that I messed that up. What you got? You got anything for us? Going with a no. Nullstram, you got anything? Any questions? Okay, Sean, you got anything to add?
No, not really. All sounds good. Just obviously, if anyone's got any issues with the ore buyback, just make sure you email me with anything you want doing, and I can try and update it.
I've been trying to have him run it through me so that I can just send you one, so you're not getting hit with all of the frickin' emails all at one time. Like if it goes down, I just have him contact me. I wait about 10 minutes and check it again, and if it goes back up again, we're fine. If not, I'll email you. So if anything happens with it, I'm still gonna filter for you. Just send it to me. I'll take care of it and send it over to him. Nullstrom's mic stopped working. Can we have a mining ship load scheme? Loan. A mining ship loan. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Like, every once in a while, we have some people that move from a procurer up to a different ship, whether it be a skiff or an orca, and they donate their ship to the ship replacement program for the miners. Currently, I think I have one procurer, which is in the ship replacement program, and I have like 20 ventures. So I'm not exactly sure by what you mean by a loan or which ships you would want to see loaned. It's really hard to loan a ship with a fit already on it because it would have to fit your skills, and nobody knows what your skills are. So it would be, if we were to loan ship, it would have to be a bear ship, and then it's kind of at the point where why?
Yeah, I guess the question for me would be is to why? Is like, is it a scenario where you don't have one and you need one, or is it more a scenario of just, I guess really why?
If we're going out and doing like a fleet op that's part of the corp fleet op, like the fundraiser, I had 5 ventures in my fleet hangar at that point, which I could have ejected at any time for anybody that showed up in a pod and just wanted to mine and help out. And so we do have those, and I know that you can run a miner one. We put it at the basic of what you could possibly do so that everybody could run one. And if that's what you mean, then absolutely, we already have that set up. I have them in my orca. I think Liquid has 2 in his, and I think Goshu has 2 in his. I'm not sure if Anara has any in hers. I haven't seen it happen before, but I think that we do that just in case somebody shows up and says, I don't have anything I can mine in. Is that basically what you're looking for?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, nobody's going to loan an orca to anybody. And then, I think the day that we get to that point is just we're doing something wrong, really.
Yeah, the tax is way too high.
Yeah, I mean, like anybody that trusts anybody with a capital, they just give it to them. Like, I'll just loan you my carrier, which is technically what an orca is. That's just fucking insane, really. If it's like a procurer, we can always maybe look at corp procurers, shall we say?
Yeah, I could definitely do that.
Yeah, we can definitely look into that. So the thing is, like we said, it'll be T1 fitted things, just purely from we don't know what your skill level are. If you can do T2 mining strip miners, that's great. But some people that are brand new might not, and therefore we have to almost take that into consideration. So it means that you kind of forced to fitting them really, really poorly but efficiently. Yeah, absolutely. Can an alpha fly a proc?
No.
I can't remember.
Nope.
Okay, so they have going to be omega. So it's basically alphas that are in ventures. They've omega'd. They want something a bit better. We don't want them to fly retrievers and precursor.
I think we want to go with just one type of ship, and it'll probably be Procura because they have the best tank out of everything. And if we're doing a fleet op anyway, and we're just loaning you the ship and whatnot, we want them to all be exactly built the same. So we're not going to jump around to a bunch of different ships. And those of us that have been mining for a very long time, Procurer is the way to go. Unless you just want a thing made out of glass that the first time something gets shot at it by a rat, you lose your ship. We're going to go Procurers. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah. So in that scenario, I think we're looking at the 90% gang-free Procurer. A lot of that stuff is T1 anyway, except the DC2. We can always drop that to a DC1. The price is about 20 mil. I mean, honestly, fuck, it's not that much. Yeah. Can we have Can we have loan procurers? yeah, sure. The only thing that we're going to have an issue with is someone basically we hand it out to someone and then they'll give it back. And there's always that 10% of people that do that type of shit. It just means it hurts the whole process. So whoever then gives them out needs to make sure that it gets returned. Otherwise, we're going to have to just basically stop the process. Or what we could always do is that if the guy is brand new and he's Omega, you do get them, then we could always say, hey, you know, if you've mined a certain amount or maybe a certain amount, either a amount in ore and value, or in you've actually joined these many fleets, and that's obviously up to the people that normally FC those fleets, then we actually can give you a procure for free. So that could always be like a little incentive. Hey, here's a free procurer. Thanks for mining with us. You know, welcome to the game. Welcome to better mining. We can always look at something like that as well. So it's almost like a earn your own procurer type of thing. So that's something we can also look at.
Anybody that would actually be interested into us looking into that program a little bit deeper, throw up an X for me. If not, and you just don't give a damn, throw up an O. I think it's a great plan. I think it'd be a good idea. I think it would really help out new guys. So give me a vote real quick. And on that, I'm going to move to Stratos. Have you got anything for us? Wow. I love how everything's unanimous decision. It's awesome. Go ahead, Stratos.
Hi, nothing for me. Everything is good. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Hey, Sin, what you got for us? Anything?
Sorry, push to talk key.
Sin's got nothing. Valen, you got anything for us? There's two Valens. So let's go with the first Valen. With an A.
He's busy typing.
Yeah, Sin, if you think of something that you just want to have brought up at a meeting, or if you have something that you want me to look into, or anything like that, or take to the people above me, that's my job. Just shoot me an email. Let me know what you want to do. I will field it out there. We'll figure out exactly logistics of it, and then we'll bring it into one of these kind of things, and we'll figure out what we want to do with it. So yeah. You would like our own manufacturing platform. Agreed. I think that would be something great. Unfortunately, that is not my department. Eric oversees a lot of that in a director point of view, but that actually needs to go through the manufacturing SIG, which I don't know who the leader of that is right now, with Goling being doing his own thing right now.
Yeah, it's a bit hit and miss at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
But
by the way,
yeah.
If any of you are looking to be in a position like mine, we have all sorts of special interest groups, and we need all sorts of heads for special interest groups. And we want you, because you're the people that help make this corp the way that it is. So if you want to be a minor special interest group head, let us know. We can make it happen. If you want to be in manufacturing and want to help out the people that are starting out in manufacturing and figure out how we're going to do our manufacturing and our ship replacement programs and stuff like that, get a hold of any one of our directors or any one of our SIG heads. We are always looking for people to be in charge. Okay, the other Valen with an E. Have you got anything for us? Nada. Okay. I'm going to go through the fleet chat real quick. It's really hard to read because it's small on my screen. Alea? Do you have anything, Alea?
I don't think you might just need to type it in there, because they might obviously be able to hear you. Mining alt.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Hussar. I think, did we already hit him? We did. Isidius. Isidolus.
You have asked him. He
Already
said
got
he's
him
fine.
too. Nolan. Nolan. Do you have anything? I'm gonna go with no for now. Okay, so Eric, do you have anything?
I always have ideas. Sometimes they're sometimes they're controversial. No, I think at the end of the day is we just as long as we've got some type of backup plan for what we're currently doing now, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Like Saban said, the SIG heads are just really a place where, at the end of the day, this corporation is not my corporation. Now, yes, I am the CEO of this, and I have created this, and I have some type of vision for it. But at the end of the day, the SIGs are there just for you guys. It's to make the game fun. It's to make a place where you can kind of come up with ideas and run with it. And that's what the SIG head is there for. It's taking that idea and saying, hey, these guys have had this amazing idea. Can we do this? And can we get some ISK, or can we use some of the ore by ISK, or can we so that sort of thing. And then and most, honestly, 90% or 99% of the time, I'll say, yeah, go do that. Go give it a go. And sometimes we have some shit ramifications, and then we have to deal, and there's a little bit of admin. Yeah, I get that, but it's fun, and at least we try it.
Okay, so apparently we did find a place in Perimeter that has open manufacturing and research. It's got everything except for reactions. So we can call that our backup for right now. I would continue to use AUA, which is in Inari, until we give you the okay to get everything out of there. If we're going to go to our backup plan of going after guerrilla tactic mining. So we have a backup plan for our manufacturing at this point as well.
Yeah. Can you update your... Yeah, just send me an update with an email as to where that is, Elena, because I'll most likely forget. And then I'll update. I'll just keep it in the back burner. And it's just so that I can remember where things are.
Can we throw it into the manufacturing SIG so that it sits at the top of that and everybody knows where our backup is? And that way, yeah, that way we have two different spots where we could do it at, and everybody could start moving their stuff over if they wanted to.
Yeah, I can do that. That's easy enough.
I'm waiting for Sean to finish typing so I know if he has anything he needs to say.
Yeah, it's fine.
What is
Shawnee? Yeah, what's the current plan with the T2 rig?
We don't have anything we can install it in right now, so I think the current plan is we were going to scout to find out what moon we want to put an Anthor or two on, and decide where we're going to do that. We want to look starting in Inari and headed towards Jida, and hitting every system on the way to find a good output moon, something that's going to be worth a damn, and we will put the tier 2 into that if we find a decent place to put it. I think that's where we're at right now, is the scouting portion of finding where we want to put our new Anthor. Yes, currently staying in Inari. Yes. Okay. So, if anybody's come up with anything over the past 5 minutes, jump in here and let me know. If not, I'm going to give us about 10-15 seconds and give us the end of the meeting. It was a good meeting, guys. A lot of crap got done.
The other thing that you possibly could have done with the rig is also sell it.
Yes.
And put that money towards the Procurer program.
True. It is approximately 3.8 billion to sell it. It will probably sit on the market for a little while, but if we were to sell it, it would definitely pay for the procurer program.
Yeah, because the thing is, the funds can always go into like increasing the all buyback program. It can also go into the procure program, and also the thing is with the all buyback program, that money doesn't go anywhere in that sense. It's it's been paying for fuel and things like that, and so in that scenario, is we can if we do need to utilize that ISK at any point in time, we can then always pull it from there.
Right.
Otherwise, we're just sitting with a module that not really doing with it much. If we then decide to then go down the guerrilla tactic method, if we then put down an Athanor and put that rig in it, if we then lose that Athanor, we then lose the rig as well. So I think we might just need to sit on it for like a month. Let's just do a bit of research with the guerrilla thing, see how that goes. It also just means that we have a bit of a clearer understanding where we are, if that's okay.
Okay, anybody else got... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, unless... do we have anywhere else we can compress with T2 at the moment?
Compress, yes, there's another compressor in Inari, and we are refining at T2 in Perimeter right now, and it's actually a tad bit better than what we were doing at the Mogul one. So,
okay.
Technically we don't need it at this time, unless we lose access to the one in Perimeter, and if we do, there's one on the opposite side of Jida, so we'd have to take 2 more jumps in order to get to it. But there's another one over there that's about the same.
Okay, so actually the one at Perimeter is better for us in a way.
Yes, because it's even on the route.
Okay, well, for me, from a logical point of view, I would say then maybe sell the rig, put it into the all buyback program for the time being. The ISK is available if we needed it, for later on, and do some more research on the guerrilla mining, see how that pans out. I'm happy to have another chat like this in a month's time with everybody, and then give almost like an update, and then we can have another vote based on the information that we have, if that's a possibility, maybe.
Okay. So I'm going to put out there right now, everybody needs to start pulling anything that they have in AUA 1 out. I think I probably have the most amount of crap there, and I have containers there that I can't even move myself, and I have to empty and do a bunch of stuff in order to break them down and whatnot. So I'll probably be the last one out, but as soon as I know what date and time that is, I will post it, and everybody should have all of their stuff out of AUA 1 at that time, and we're going to go ahead and shut that one down for fuel consumption.
Yeah. What do you need freighter runs with that container stuff? Because I obviously
I'll throw it up in Corp as soon as I got them all broken down or whatnot.
Okay, because I'm sure we've got a fuck ton of freighters floating about, because I've got one, so.
Yeah, and I'm seeing them posted every time somebody's going back and forth and whatnot. I'll throw it up in Corp as soon as I know something.
Okay.
Anybody else? Going once. Going twice.
Can we have a sober mining channel?
What do you mean you don't drink? You're not drunk when you're in there? I mean,
how can you mine and not be on something, man? It's mind numbing.
All right, never mind.
That's the point. You're on mining. You don't need anything else.
If you... Oh, it seems that I went AFK. That's hilarious.
Defends you.
I got booted out of my own channel because I went AFK. That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, if you want to change the name, just give me a shout and I'll change the name if it offends people.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. We'll call it something really cool eventually. So, suggestions for new names of the Mining Drunk channel, go ahead and email me.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call that a meeting. I mean, it was what, 2.5 hours, hour and a half, something like that. Hour and a half, not bad. I hope to see you all out there in the fleet, and fly safe, and have a good day, guys. I gotta go do a bunch of frickin' yard work and crap. Later.
Thanks, dude.
Alright.
Thank you very much for arranging it, and thanks for everybody for coming. And sorry I kind of interrupted at the end, but yeah, I would have wanted to be on Earth.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looked like there were a few manufacturing ones that were open in perimeter. The one that I posted is the only one that has everything, but it has kind of higher tax a little bit. Than it's got 10% tax on everything, whereas some of the other ones have like 8.
Okay, and who owns that perimeter one?
Let's see. It is the Tranquility Trading Consortium.
Okay, not heard of them before.
Yeah, me neither. But they had a couple of things in there.
They're not the same people that own the Tranquility Trading Tower, are they?
No, that's Test.
Who the fuck calls the Alliance the Feminist High Sec Liberation Network? Jesus Christ, this got fucking insane. There's actually a corporation called the Feminist High Security Liberation Network with 7 people in it.
Wow.
You know
Like
they're
a
all
wall with-
alts, right? Every one of them's got to be an alt.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, they're at war with that corporation, so they just need to be a bit careful with that. I'll maybe put a shout out to the CEO and just see who's this Tranquility Trading CEO. Oh, fuck, that's another alt. Okay, hold on.
Can I have more than one mission accepted at the same time?
You can have as many as you want to. Yeah, of course.
All right.
But only one per agent.
Yes.
All right.
But yeah, you can pick as many as you want. It's basically just called chaining. So you'll pick up like 5 or 6 of them, and then you'll just run them 1 or 3 together. Do you guys need anything from me, Sean, Sabin? While I'm online?
100 billion ISK would be nice.
Oh, I would like that too. I'll speak to D to get right on that.
I think if you could figure out how to get into Golan's bank account, I think that would cover it.
What, is Deke rich again? He got his money?
I think Deke's on about 220 bill at the moment.
Oh, nice. Last I heard, he lost nearly everything because of that scam thing that he didn't check the zeros on.
Yeah, he went from 758 when he stole everything from goons, and then he went down to about 40 bill because he lost 500 bill of it to that.
Yep.
And then he had. And then I think he's taken that 50 bill and he's made about another 200 bill with it. So I think he's on about 200.
Ah, nice.
Right, I'm going to go spend some time with my little one. He's been dying to play. But I just wanted to kind of just show my face here and just jump on and have a bit of a chat.
Have fun.
Thank you. Cheers.
That's neat. Jesus. So I repackaged a shuttle and randomly like 12 insurance contracts.
That just sounds odd. You repackaged a shuttle and got 12 insurance contracts?
That expired. Like 12 messages of insurance contract expired.
That's
All
gotta
at the
be a
same
glitch
time.
of some kind.
immediate after I repackaged the shuttle.
What are shuttles used for?
Rapid travel. If you don't need any cargo space or anything and just want to get from point A to point B quickly and cheaply with the throwaway.
So
why don't you just use your capsule for it?
Because it's faster than the capsule. Basically, I am based out of Inara, but we sell all of our minerals in Jida. And so I'm not the one that moves all of them. Somebody else does that. So when it shows up at Jida and I have to go there in order to sell anything, I immediately jump into a shuttle that I have sitting in Inara, and I jump over there. And it takes me maybe 5 minutes, not even that long, to get from Inara to Jida. And then it takes just as much time to get back. It's super quick. If you do it in your capsule, it takes about 1.5 times as long. Oh, and they sell really well, too.
And yeah, you could do it in your Corvette almost as fast, but it's still a bit faster in a shuttle.
If you're going to AFK travel and autopilot, the shuttle is faster than absolutely everything else. It's just super freaking quick on autopilot.
Well, I mean, there are other things that are faster than it on autopilot, but it's definitely the quickest and easiest to get fast autopiloter.
Alright, anybody who's still watching, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Once again, this will serve as minutes for the meeting for anybody that wants to see it later on. It will take a little bit of...
I'm still just blown away by the fact that fucking Veldspar is worth almost as much as Arcanor.
And, yeah, so that's going to be it.
And the mining flade's up?
You guys have a wonderful day.
Yeah, there is one.